Hey guys, welcome to the 5th video in my Ableton Live 10 Basics series. Today I'm going to cover browser functionality and how to make use of things like saving effect racks, samples, and collections. Before we begin, just a quick reminder to leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button. This will help me continue to bring valuable content to awesome viewers like you. So more or less, I'm just going to cover different functionality within the browser, and hopefully you guys get a better understanding of how to make use of it. The first thing I want to talk about is the search bar. This is really handy for when you're searching for something specific, like a certain synth or maybe a certain sample. Just make sure that whatever you're looking for, you have highlighted the correct folder. If you don't highlight the correct folder, then odds are what you're looking for will not show up. Something else you'll probably want to use right away when you start using Ableton is custom folders. And you can see this button right down here. Essentially, you just click that and you can search for whatever folder you're trying to add. For me personally, I definitely wanted to have a folder that had custom samples, so I added that in there. Another thing a lot of you will find really handy is if you go click Current Project, and let's say you have previous saves of the project you're working in, but let's say you made some changes and you really didn't like those changes, so you wanted to go back to a previous save. You would just click Current Project, and up here there's a folder called Backup. And this folder saves all your previous save points within your project. You can even open up these little folders and only choose the specific spots that you would like to drag back into the project from the previous version. Another thing you guys may find yourself using frequently is the user library. More or less, the user library is also for creating custom folders, so that way you can save different things like certain samples or perhaps different audio effects that you've created for use later down the road. You could even create custom folders in here. Let's say you had a lot of trouble finding kicks you actually liked. You would just say, my favorite kicks. And then you could go even further than that and create folders for different genres. So the next thing I want to cover is how to create and save custom effects and effect racks. If you were to go over here into your audio effects, let's say you needed a compressor, and then you were to make certain settings that you thought sounded really good for a specific sound. Let's say this was for a kick and we got our settings the way we wanted them. Then you could literally go over here to your user library, and there's two ways to save an effect. You could either click this button, which is Save Preset, and it will save it under Compressor Presets. You could rename that to Kick Comp. Or if you want it saved at a different location, you would just simply create a new folder, say My Compressor Presets. You could take that compressor and drag it into that folder, and it will effectively save that for use later. Now, let's say we wanted to take that a step further, and we wanted to create our own custom effect, which I'm going to go ahead and do for you guys. So I have a pluck here that I created really fast just for this video. And I really want to add some reverb to the pluck. Now that sounds pretty good, but I hear a lot of transients coming through, which I really don't like. So I'm going to add a Transient Shaper. And we're just going to go ahead and adjust that. Now that works well with the reverb, but I don't want to completely eliminate the transient out of that sound. So I'm going to group these using Control G. I'm going to click here to show the chain. and then I'm going to create one more chain. Now this one's going to be the reverb chain, and this one's going to be the dry version. This is really cool because it allows you to further adjust the dry-wet signal, essentially. The wet signal being your reverb signal, and the dry one being this other chain. I could go ahead and rename this. So we can bring in as much or as little as that reverb as we want. So we've effectively taken out the transient for that reverb signal. Let me play the before and after. This is without taking out the transient. This is after. And this is with no reverb at all. So I've created an effect that I really like, and we can go ahead and rename this to Transient Cut Verb. And let's say I wanted to reuse this effect down the road because I like it. I could either A, click this save button right here, and it would effectively save that under our presets folder in audio effect racks. Or again, if I wanted to create a new folder, call it My Reverbs, you could just drag that whole group of effects in there and it would save it for you. This is really handy for creating basically custom effect racks for inside of Ableton and being able to reuse them efficiently. So that way down the road, you don't have to remember exactly what you did to achieve a certain effect, and you can literally just click and drag it on in. Now the same thing goes for samples and even MIDI. And I have this kick here. Let's say it was one of my favorite kicks ever. I loved using it on a lot of different things. You could simply drag that sample over into your folder, and it automatically went into the house folder. I'm not sure why, but maybe because I don't have multiple folders in here. Let's say dubstep. And you could either have it in your house folder or your dubstep folder, just wherever you wanted to have it. Right there waiting for you whenever you needed to use it again. Now you can also do the same thing for MIDI. Let's create another folder, call it My MIDI. You could simply take this MIDI clip, grab it, and drag it into that folder. It would effectively save that MIDI clip. Let's rename that Chords MIDI. Okay, the last thing we're going to cover while we're here is collections. Collections are a set of folders that more or less kind of act as favorite folders, but they always sit up here at the top of your browser window. You can rename these to whatever you want, but I just named them and put them all in a format that made sense to me. This is really handy because it just saves time on searching through your plugins folder, trying to find what you need. If you already know what you need, then you can just come on over here, click synths or effects or whatever it may be, and it's all right there, right where you need it. Now, let's say you just renamed all your collections to what you wanted, but you don't have anything inside of them. To add something to a collection, you would simply go to it. You would find the plugin or sample or effect, whatever it may be that you're looking for. You would right click, and then you would click on the collection that you want to add it to. So let's say I want to add this to effects. We click that, and then when we come back to effects, we'll find that right here. Well, that pretty much covers it for today. I hope you guys found this video useful, and I definitely hope you can make it back for the next one. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day and take care.